Hello my friends and welcome back to Kev's Hobby Showcase. I'm of course Kevin. You may have also seen me on Tabletop Jones Productions presents 288's, where me and John are the 288's playing board games. And today, shockingly enough, I'm going to be painting minis for a miniature pack for Marvel Crisis Protocol of Iceman and Shadowcat. So first we bring up Iceman. Got him on a nice little ice slide over here. Wasn't easy to get him to stay on it, I'll tell you that. And we got Shadowcat. For those of you who know, read the comics, he's got Lockheed the Dragon here with him. And they show her actually phasing through a what looks like a sentinel arm. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. So one thing I've noticed from the box, and I'll show you right here. So on the box, they got Iceman here. Oh, sorry for the glare. There we go, Iceman here. So the way they have him, I'm going to try something a little different than usual. I'm going to paint him a bluish color and try to put like white highlights everywhere, because that's usually the way they draw him, not only here, but also in the comics. And also a little interesting thing, I should have this picture for the end of this video. Iceman basically is, as far is the last one that I needed to get to have the original X-Men. From before I did the videos, I already had Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Beast. You've seen me paint Angel and Professor X, and now you're going to see me paint Iceman. So I'm going to try to get a picture of all of them and put it up at the end of the video. All right. So anyway, so next is priming. Now we are having where I'm living here, we are having high winds, very high winds. So I'm not going to film myself priming these because it's so unpredictable. I don't want to take a chance of the primer blowing on my face. I'm going to try to do it, like just leaning out my back door to try to minimize, anything that the wind was going to do. But that's going to, I'm not going to film that. So, so that's what I'm going to do next. And when we come back, we're going to start with some base coats. So stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Everything is primed and dry. So now we're going to start on the base coat for Iceman and Shadowcat. So, get this on, point this down. Okay. So I'm going to start on Iceman. I got a sky blue color because I don't want the blue to be very, very dark. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Gotta get a good brush. All right. Okay, so okay. Well, not quite what I was expecting, but workable. Because it's giving off like a shine that could really look like the way ice will kind of shine when there's a lot of it. And like I said, in the comics, he's generally colored in with a bluish tint. Alright, and as I was saying in the beginning of the video, as far as the pieces that I have, personally, this was the last one that I needed to have all the original X-Men. Because before I was doing these videos, they started coming out with the X-Men. They had a couple of character packs. I know one was with Cyclops. I don't remember who was there with him. And Beast came out, and I think they had Mystique with Beast. And then later on, they came out with a Jean Grey figure. You know, not as Phoenix, just as Jean Grey. Now my hope, because the makers of this game at times tend to go along with the movies that are being released as far as what characters that they bring out. So now that the Fantastic Four is finally due out, and also due out into, you know, not only due out but also, you know, due out in the MCU, I'm hoping that they come out with character packs for the Fantastic Four characters and, you know, some of their villains, you know, like Doctor Doom, of course, because Doctor Doom is going to be a very major part in upcoming MCU movies, especially when they start doing Secret Wars. But also, maybe they'll come out with villains like Mole Man, or maybe some of the other ones like the Frightful Four. Well, actually, they already kind of released Sandman, so they'd have to do the other three, or maybe just do the Wizard for now. I don't know how they would want to do it, but also, dare I say it, come out with Galactus and the Silver Surfer. All right, I'm going to go over this part because it's unfortunately looking a little greenish, and I want it to look bluish. So let's get a little bit more. Yeah, so Iceman basically here got the base coat of the of this blue color, of this sky blue. Just trying to get every little bit so that there's no bald spots here. Okay, so yeah, so the base coat is going to be this, and then once this dries, I'm going to come back and start doing like white, but I've got to be more strategic than I usually do with some of the other pieces that I painted. It can't really be too random. So I'm going to consult what it shows on the box and see how I can, you know, make it look as good as I can make it look. All right, so, whoops. So really, for now, that's all I can do for Iceman, because Iceman doesn't really need all that much as far as color goes. All right, let me give myself another brush, because next we're going to do Shadowcat. Now with her, I'm going to do a base coat of blue, regular blue, not sky blue. Let's put this away. And if you hear that banging, that's my storm door blowing open from all this gusting wind that we're having, which is why I didn't do the priming on. Oh, the main reason I didn't do the priming on camera. All right. All right, so Shadowcat, she's got. All right, so this costume is mostly blue. It's going to have yellow over it. So, but let's get the blue on first. And for now, I'm thinking of just doing Shadowcat and not doing Lockheed yet. Well, Shadowcat and the Sentinel arm here, because it's the same thing. I mean, I remember, I don't know if anybody saw the videos where I was painting the Sentinels that I have. It was a combination of blue and purple, but I think, you know, I think we can safely say it was mostly blue. Not sure why I'm being careful here, because the arm has got to be blue as well. And I think this jar of blue paint is finally done, because it's kind of mostly solidified on the bottom of this jar. I think I bought another one. Yeah, it's a little funny story. In one of the videos, because usually when I make videos, I make them in clusters. So one of the videos I'm going to make today is one that I tried to start a couple of weeks ago, but I ran out of primer. All right, yeah. So this is dried up. So let's put this aside. Make sure I don't have another one in here before I start. Oh, it turns out I did. Oh, wait a minute. All right, let's hold on to that now. That might be a little bit more glossy. Okay. So let's finish this up. Yeah, it's coming on a lot better now. Yeah, so with the Sentinel arm, parts on the back is going to be purple, like how I did it when I was painting them. And parts on the front of it is going to be like a metallic gray, like all the, I don't know if you can see this, like some like stuff here that looks like gears and whatnot, so that's going to be metallic gray. Just kind of get in there with this. Okay, that's better, much better. Yeah, some of my supplies here I think are nearing the end of their usefulness. Oh, darn it. Well, I'm not going to worry about what gets on Lockheed because I'm going to be doing him later. And with him, it's pretty much just about all purple, you know. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. So, clean the brush. All right. Okay, so we're going to let that base coat dry on both of them, and then when we come back, I'm going to start doing the white on Iceman, and start doing more on the costume for Shadowcat, maybe even get the flesh tone on her face, or even the hair, I'm not sure yet. And maybe even, you know, since I, you know, do some, I'll do some of the purple on the Sentinel's arm, and maybe I'll even get Lockheed done. So I'll try to get as much done as I can, all right? So stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, we've given that paint some time to dry, and we're going to continue with Iceman and Shadowcat. I'm actually going to start with Shadowcat first, and get the purple in. All right, so. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, you'd think I would have chosen the brush first before I started recording, but nope. All right, so. All right, so like I said, got some parts back here. I mean, it doesn't, unfortunately, the purple doesn't show up, you know, very prominently. You're putting it up against a dark bluish color. But it kind of shows up subtly, so. Alright, so, but anyway, I'm gonna, you know, I was gonna start on Iceman, but it's taking longer to fully dry. So I figured let me do this, let me start off on Shadowcat and then let that finish, which it should be ready to go by the time I'm done with those. But I'm also thinking, after I get the purple in, which I'm gonna, you know, let's get Lockheed the Dragon. After I get the purple in, take out the yellow paint and get the rest of her costume before I start on Iceman. Okay. Trying to be very careful. I mean, even though it won't show up all that much, I'm still trying to be very careful not to get purple paint on Shadowcat. And of course, for those who've read the comics know, she's also very frequently called Kitty Pryde. Okay. Probably should have used a smaller brush to get Lockheed, but, you know, it is what it is. All right. Okay, almost done with Lockheed the Dragon. A bit more dabs where it belongs on the sentinel arm. Okay, all right. And yeah, I think I'm gonna, well, I gotta get a lot thinner brush. But I think I'm going to get the yellow onto her costume. Okay. All right, now let me get a good one here. All right. All right, now. So, what I need to do with her is not very easily seen because it's got very subtle lines on the model. But, once you're up close to it, and of course you got something to magnify it, especially if you're like me and eyesight ain't what it used to be, although I would challenge anybody with perfect eyesight to be able to see all the little ins and outs of these things. But anyway, it's once you can see it, you know exactly where to go with all the paint. And she's got, of course, as with all X-Men characters, she's got a spot on the belt where it's got a little X. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to show up, I mean. Okay, all right. Yeah, I may have to do some touch-ups afterwards, but for the most part, it's actually going in not too bad. Yeah, they should actually show with the way they built the model. It's like she's phasing through it. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to eventually come back with the blue to touch up different spots. Oh, this actually the glove right here, because I don't think I'm going to be able to cover that up very well when I do the wash. All right, got a little. Ah, I'm getting it all from me. Oh, that's not going to go well. Okay, just hold on a second. I dropped my brush. I probably should have put it down from the very beginning. Alright, now just got to dab that a little bit. Or I could just go over it in blue later instead of driving myself crazy right now. Alright, so let me see. So let me just try to go over anything with yellow, see if I can get it to fill in a little bit nicer. And any little mistakes I'll wind up going over before we finish this video. Okay. Alright. So, let me clean that brush now. Alright, so now we're going to make an attempt to, okay, let me see, make sure it's, alright, not as dry as I would like it, but, you know, don't want to wait too long. Alright, so let's get the white on. Start making it, basically got to try to make it look like frost. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to put on lightly. It doesn't necessarily have to cover everything because I want the blue to bleed through. Yeah. Okay, so it's coming through pretty good. All right, good. Because with this, I do want all that blue paint, like I said, to bleed through. Okay. All right. Yeah, I know it's not covering it totally, but that's actually kind of what I want. Because I want the blue to shine through, and I want the white to be more like a highlight or like a frost type effect. And it does seem like in some of these spots here, the blue paint is actually still kind of wet. Which I hope I'm not ruining my white paint right now. But I'm going to keep going because it's actually giving me the effect that I want on the piece. See, as it's going on, some parts it's kind of like mixing with the blue, but in other parts it's just going over it to make it look like I said, like a frost, you know, which is what I want. So it's actually coming out better than I thought it would. All right, actually, yeah. Okay. I mean, I know it kind of looks a little sloppy, but this is kind of the effect that like I said, that I wanted. So we'll see how it looks like when it's fully dry. All right. Let me clean this brush. All right, so Iceman is actually pretty much just about done. I just got to do the base. All right, so most of the work I got to do is still on Shadowcat. So let's see if there's anything I can do right now. Actually, there is. You know what? Let's get her hair. Got a nice brown color, and we'll get her hair. brush. All right. Yeah. Okay, we'll get our hair now, and then maybe we'll take a break and we come back to the flesh tones. Well, flesh tone, because I don't have to do that for Iceman. Yeah, we'll do the flesh tone for Shadowcat, and we'll also do a little touch up to wherever it's needed, especially the blue. All right. Okay. All right, it's coming along pretty good. Okay, so we're going to let that paint dry, and when we come back, we'll see if anything needs to be done to Iceman, which I don't think it will, and we'll try to do the finishing touches on Shadowcat. So stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, we've given that paint on Iceman and Shadowcat some time to dry, and now we're going to try to finish it all up. All right, so let's just get to it. All right, so first things first. Start off with Shadowcat, because Iceman is pretty much finished. So first we got the flesh color. And as always, I always forget to grab a nice brush before I start. Alright. So let's get this. Okay, so yeah, not much to do except the face for the flesh tone. Alright, that's all I was. I know it's kind of anticlimactic, but you know, that's all I really needed for that. And sometimes when I'm doing something with these, you don't really need a whole heck of a lot, you just need a little. Alright, so I'm going to touch up now on the blue for her, because there are some spots that just need to be, yeah, here we go. Some spots that just need to be kind of touched up, finished up, however you want to put it. Okay. Not as many as I thought originally. Oh, here we go. This piece, is this bit in there? There we go. Okay. Alrighty. So now I'm going to take metallic gray and try to get on where the gears are. And of course, there we go. Sometimes these jars are hard to open, but that's part of the reason I don't use tester paints, because I actually have a bunch of theirs, and I basically had to abandon them because I could not get the caps off. Alright, so here we go. Get the little mechanisms here. And I'm even going to get it in there. Get a little bit on the fingers. Yeah. You know, it doesn't, you know, show up in an obvious way. So a lot of times when you're doing these, it's like subtle. So let's take a look. And not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. So, and you know what? Let's get started on the base. And we're going to do the base for both of them, and after I'm done with Shadowcat, I'll show you how Iceman, how the colors settled in really, really nicely with him. Here we go. Okay. All right. So I'm using neutral gray this time for the base. I usually just use, well, most times I use one of the gray colors that I have. And so I usually go through, sometimes I use a darker gray, sometimes I use this one, sometimes I use a lighter gray. I think it all depends on how the what the piece is like as far as colors. You know what is shown there. Oh, may have to do a touch up on Lockheed's tail. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's it for Shadowcat. And now, see, here's how Iceman turned out. Now, this is actually the effect that I wanted. I mean, you know, I guess some people might say it looks a bit sloppy, but that's exactly the effect that I wanted. I wanted the blue underneath with with the white looking like it was mostly like frost. And I feel like that's exactly what I got. So just get the base colored. And then Iceman is done. So yesterday, here in Staten Island, well, last night actually, we had a bit of a power outage. And one of the first thoughts I had was, because I was actually thinking of possibly making videos yesterday. So one of the things I was thinking of is like, oh God, how would it have looked if while I was, painting minis, all of a sudden all the lights went out. But, everything, came back on a couple hours later, so everything was all as well. Okay. And there we go. All right. Let me clean the brush. Whoop. Yeah, one of these days I gotta start getting new paintbrushes. Okay, let me give Shadowcat the once over because I had to do more touch-ups on her. I want to make sure I still don't have to, and I don't. No, I guess I don't think I have. Oh. One thing I almost forgot: the wash, which I'm going to do right now. Can't believe I almost forgot the wash. We're going to start with Shadowcat. Actually, no. Nah, I guess I could do it now. Kind of getting a little bit of paint on it now, so let me wet that brush. Okay. Let me do it again. I don't know, maybe I went too quickly into this. Gonna do it very subtly with Iceman. Oh, it's coming out better than I thought. Even out some places where it's settled in a little bit more than I wanted to. Okay. I'm going to leave the base alone on this one, as far as the wash goes. Okay. So, here we go. Get off my head. Turn that. Okay, now, we get it ready to display. And here they are. Iceman and Shadowcat. Ready to deploy with their fellow X-Men. Alright, so... Oh shoot, I got paint on my table. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope you liked the video. I hope you, please like and subscribe, and please share it as much as possible. Also, please check out Tabletop Jones Productions, where, like I said, John and I are the idiots playing board games, and maybe one day you'll see Iceman and Shadowcat while we, on the board while we play Marvel Crisis Protocol. And also, please, if you can, check out our Patreon. It's Tales from the Tabletop, but it might still be under Storytime Jones. So just please, like I said, like, subscribe, and share as much as possible. And you have a great day, and I'll see you again. Take care.